Eric Butts.
And I'm Jim Butts.
We're SuicideFantasyFootball.com, talking to you from the headquarters about the top 5 offensive people that we think are going to change teams this year. Jim, my first person, Reggie Bush. There's no way with the Saints getting Mark Ingram, they're going to pay him $11 million to be a Saint. So he's going to be on somebody's team. I think the Colts are his best matchup. I also think he'd be good on the Seahawks.
We had this discussion before. I don't really care where he goes. I don't think he's an impact player unless you're talking about a 20, at most 20 touch, not even 20 touch, a 10 touch a game guy, maybe seven offensive plays and 3 punt
You're
returns.
an idiot.
I'm just telling you, he's fragile. He's
You're an
going to
idiot.
break. He's never played. I don't think he's played more than like 6 games in a row without missing a game and getting hurt.
Reggie Bush touches the ball 20 times a game, and he is a
You're
productive
ridiculous.
back
He's
in the
never
NFL.
touched the ball 20 times.
All right, give me your top guy, Mo.
Well, I mean, the top guy I think that's going to be available is Plaxico Barris coming out of jail. And I don't know that he's going to be the top. He might not be the most wanted guy, but I think at the end of the season, depending on where he goes, he's going to have the most impact.
Jim, what makes you think that he's going to come back and have that much of an impact this year? Who's done that? Who's gotten away from the game for that long and just come back and been a stud?
Well, who's gotten away from the game for that long? I mean, it just doesn't happen that often where somebody in the middle of their career comes back and plays good. I mean, I can tell you in baseball when it happened regularly, like when they got called away to war, it happened all the time. And Ted Williams and all those other guys went and served 2 years in the military, came back, and were fine. Plaxico Barris is a home run hitter. He's determined. Plus, you always discount how much of sports is mentality. He's driven.
Mentality.
His mental approach, your thought.
Just don't make up words.
It's mentality. That's a word.
Could be. I'm not smart.
But that's part of it. Your mental approach, your focus. It's not necessarily always about who's the most able-bodied person or who has the most talent. And he's focused. He's got a lot of desire. He's done whatever, the same thing that happened with Michael Vick. He went into jail. He found himself. He wants to do the right thing. And he wants to prove to everybody that he's the player.
Mike Vick wasn't losing a step before he went to prison. Plaxico Barris was losing a step
He was losing a step because he was banged up from getting pounded on every day. And now he's had 2 years for everything to heal up.
We'll see. Don't get me wrong. I think Plax has got a way better chance of someone like Tiki Barber coming back and being productive, but I don't think you can say he's going to be the top producing person that changes teams this year at the end of the year.
I guarantee you this. Plaxico Barris is going to have more of an impact than Reggie Bush.
We will see.
Unless you're talking about Twitter wars or something like that.
We'll see. All right, I also got Cedric Benson. I know you don't think he's changing teams, but I think that, I forget the young guy who was doing really well for Cincinnati towards the end of the year, but I think they're kind of past Cedric Benson. I think they're over him. Last year was the year that he had to put up big numbers, and he kind of crapped the bed.
One thing's going to determine whether it's Cedric Benson or a young guy, and that's if Carson Palmer is going behind center. If Carson Palmer's there, they're going to want to win now and play, and they're going to put Cedric Benson back there. If Carson Palmer's not there,
it's going to be the young guy rebuild.
Yeah, it's going to be all rebuild. Might as well just go
get rid of Ochocinco. There's no more T.O. Why not get a young guy in the backfield with a quarterback?
Now, what about my man, not Harold Carmichael,
Donovan McNabb? I don't
Depends.
think...
If he goes to San Francisco, Miami, Seattle, Minnesota, or Tennessee, either of those teams, when he goes there, they make the playoffs, and they're contenders.
Tennessee makes the playoffs.
Without a doubt.
Donovan McNabb's there.
If Donovan McNabb goes there, Tennessee makes the
Who's
playoffs.
Donovan McNabb throwing the ball to?
You don't think Kenny Britt is a good
jail?
player?
Kenny Britt's going to end up in jail. He's going to be suspended for the first 8 games of the season, dude.
No, I'm telling you.
You'll see.
And they're going to make they're going to sign at least one free agent wide receiver. They have Munchak there going to do the work. I'm telling you. Donovan McNabb, no matter if he goes to one of those teams, they make the playoffs.
All right, now what about the other guy that we got rid of McNabb for, Kevin Cobb, number 4. Now, there you go. I think Kevin Cobb, in a couple of, like you're throwing out 5 different teams that McNabb could be successful on. Of all those, I agree with you on San Francisco. Now, Cobb on the other hand.
If Donovan McNabb goes to the Vikings, they don't make the playoffs? Are you kidding me?
Vikings, I might give you 2.
How about Miami? If he goes to Miami with Brandon Marshall and the defense that they
in
have
the Jets and the Patriots division, the Dolphins aren't making the playoffs.
Whatever. First of all, you can have 2 wild card teams from the same division.
It isn't going to happen.
And
it isn't
they will be better than
because they got to play against them twice.
Yes, and they will be better than one of those 2 teams with Donovan McNabb.
No way. Now Kevin Cobb, on the other hand, I think that there's some teams that could
because
really
he's done so much in the NFL that you can say that's what
no, but he's got potential on the upside, and McNabb's only got potential on the downside. Jim, I'm a McNabb fan, dude. He's going downhill. He's not going to get better.
Yeah, but
he's not going to make
because
many
he's
teams
up
better.
here and
his
going
balls
downhill,
are down here.
And Kevin Cobb is right here, and he's trying to get there. Kevin Cobb has done next to nothing. I like Kevin Cobb, but you're doing a whole lot of ifs, ands, or buts for Kevin Cobb.
The Cardinals will be great with a Kevin Cobb.
Kevin Cobb
the Niners will be great with a Kevin Cobb.
No.
The
Michael Crabtree,
Seattle Seahawks will do very
well. Ruin Kevin Cobb. Michael Crabtree will ruin him if he goes there. Vernon Davis and those personalities on that team.
McNabb will be better throwing at their feet. But
it doesn't matter. McNabb's personality, they will not tell McNabb what to do. Kevin Cobb will be like a scared little elf.
This is the kind of butts and butts talk that you're really going to start to enjoy because this is something that all 5 we don't agree with whatsoever. Each other. I think he's an idiot. He thinks I am. We'd like to know what you think. Check us out, suicidefantasyfootball.com. Because we're talking about Kevin Cobb.
McNabb.
Follow us on Twitter, SFFcom, Facebook /Suicide Fantasy Football, and check out the Suicide Fantasy Girls. Like them and vote for which one you think is the hottest. Butts and butts.